listening via whatever means. This afternoon, we continue to update you regarding the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to also welcome the over 158 students and faculty that will be arriving here that have arrived to St. Kitts and Nevis for the Ross University students, our second semester, the second batch for the seventh semester students. I think the exercise has gone very well, and I want to thank the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force, along with the members of the task force, and also for the members of the NEOC in collaboration with the Ross University faculty, who have been working assiduously on the ground to ensure that all the protocols and procedures are followed to ensure a smooth process. So kudos to everyone who have been working hard to ensure this goes smoothly. The COVID-19 task force has been carrying out hosting a number of meetings with stakeholders. We met with the taxi operators, the Ministry of Tourism, in particular the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, and we also received updates from the St. Christopher Air and Seaport Authority. In our discussion with the taxi operators, retrofitting their vehicles to help us in the fight against COVID-19, and also to assist them in generating economic activities, as many of the taxi operators have been dormant due to the impact of COVID-19. So in our discussions, the taxi operators have showed us or become innovative in explaining another means of using a barrier that is not plexiglass to support the fight against COVID. So they are recommending for the task force to review, in collaboration with the medical team, to review the use of polythene plastic sheeting with Velcro tape to ensure that that barrier is created between the driver and the potential passenger. And that is incoming passengers, of course. In our demonstration, we felt very pleased with the demonstration that was shown by the taxi operators. And I want to thank the King Socrates, and also the president of the Taxi Association, Barry Daniel, for ensuring that this demonstration was done, and we could look at the various types of vehicles and how the plastic can actually suit the various shapes and forms of vehicles, and it can be cut to suit. And it was very encouraging, and I think we have a good plan going forward. However, in retrofitting, we also encourage the taxi operators to look at wearing the face mask to help ensure that that barrier is continued to be kept between them and the incoming passengers. Also, we are asking to equip the taxis with hand sanitizers, and also in some of them, as you see here, being displayed before you, have already gone ahead and implemented the plexiglass. One of the questions we were asked is the collection of money. And what we have said to some, to become innovative and creative, and look at the EPOS terminal to allow for e-payment. If some of you have traveled to other countries such as the United States, you will see that some cabs have the ability for you to swipe a card and be able to pay for your trips. These are some of the things that we have to put in place if we want to remain resilient against this COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19, as I said, met with the Tourism Authority, and the tourism, I want to laud the work that is being done by the Ministry of Tourism in training stakeholders within the tourism sector. They have trained so far on St. Kitts 933 persons, and the Nevis Tourism Authority, we're informed, has trained 1,500 persons thereabout. And these persons are in the areas of hotel and condos and villas, taxi operators, water sports and catamaran operators, vendors, retail operators, restaurant and bar operators, persons operating spas, and those individuals working within the casino, bars, and entertainment. And that is very critical and important for us as we endeavor to open our borders. We also met with Casper, who was able to demonstrate the infrastructure design in preparing the airport to facilitate incoming commercial flights. We were very pleased with the presentation. It was practical and something that is adaptable, and it's much easier to implement. I think in principle, everyone had an agreement that this will work best for us for now in St. Kitts and Nevis. The National COVID-19 Task Force submitted to the Cabinet, Federal Cabinet, the pre-approved quarantine site policy. And this is a policy whereby persons who owns condos, villas, etc., can be able to quarantine in the place of abode for them. How do you access this? You submit the request to the COVID-19 Task Force for the inspection of the property, and you'll see the email covid19taskforce@gov.kn, and you will make your official request via there. So what is the purpose of this document? The purpose of this document is to pre-certified homes quarantine to allow persons the opportunity to stay in their place of abode without increasing the risk of transmission of COVID-19 to others, as well as to specify the conditions of quarantine in such locations. And that's critical. We are going to need much quarantine space going forward once we are open to commercial flights entering, and our borders also opening to other means of entering St. Kitts and Nevis, such as yachts and other types of large vessels. So therefore, the Cabinet has agreed in principle that this is one of the ways in which we can increase our quarantine capacities. Now, there are critical things we want to make sure. I'm going to just highlight some critical things. We want to make sure that once you are approved, you should ensure that adherence to the COVID-19 protocols are carried out and carried out well. We don't want a situation that you feel like you go into this space and then you get tired and you can go. That will not happen, because one of the other agreements for you to be able to be approved is to ensure that you have approved security, and that will be private security, and this security will be prescribed by the Office of the Commissioner of Police. The security will be monitoring you 24/7 during the quarantine period, and it's critical. Once you sign on the dotted lines, you have to adhere to these agreements. So I must inform you that the pre-approved quarantine site policy has been approved, and you can access this by emailing your request to the COVID-19 Task Force at gov.kn. When we look at the hurricane preparedness update, at present, there are no imminent threat of cyclonic hazards to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. However, there are two systems that are existing in the Atlantic Basin, so I am appealing to all to remain vigilant and monitor these systems as they continue to develop in the Atlantic Basin. Again, if you do not have a plan, develop one now. Use this opportunity to develop one. And if you have one, review it. Hurricane Laura, which increased to a Category 4, passed us as a tropical storm. And that is enough to remind us that we have to prepare and we have to be ready, and the weather is something that is very dynamic. So continue to prepare. for any potential impact of any cyclonic activity. Thank you, and that is my report for today.